Hello and welcome to the Moment of Mindfulness. I'm Kate Ellis of the Healing Quest in Scottsdale, Arizona. I'm a clinical counseling hypnotherapist. Today's discussion is about guilt. What is it good for? All of us experience the sensation or the emotion of guilt. If you are a human being, you experience guilt. What is guilt? Guilt is our foundational beliefs. What we are taught when we're young of what is right, absolutely, and what is wrong. There is no gray fuzzy area in here, such as Bill Clinton asking, is oral sex actually a sexual encounter? So there's no gray fuzzy area. When you feel guilty, you feel awful, but guilt actually provides you an opportunity. You think I'm crazy, don't you? But let me explain. Say you are a Christian and you decide, maybe you're a Christian, you're a Catholic, maybe you were not raised that way, you were just born into that religion and you weren't really practicing. And at some point in your life, you decide to explore your spirituality and your religion. So you start with where you know, with Catholicism. And so as you're studying, you go along and you come across this idea of a conspiracy in the 15th century between the Pope and the fishermen. And as the story goes, the fishermen at one point had approached the Pope and said to the Pope, people are not eating as much fish as they used to eat. They're more agrarian, they're eating more meat, they have more money, and we have families to feed. You gotta help us, please. And so the Pope sends them away and says, look, I'll think about it, and when I've come up with a decision, I will ask you to return. And so after a little bit of time, the Pope calls the fishermen back and says, I have got an idea. What I will do is I will make a meatless day of the week. Let's make it Friday and a time of Sabbath. And the fishermen were very happy and they're like, oh yes, that would help us out, knowing that if at least one day a week people would choose fish instead of anything else, that would really help us out a lot. Thank you. That seems very plausible, doesn't it? Then you begin to do a little bit more investigation and you realize that there really wasn't a meeting between the Pope and the fishermen. It was actually a political intrigue. During the 15th century, King Henry VIII was married to Catherine. He was a player. Basically, King Henry VIII would nail any woman that was not nailed down. And eventually, through his cavorting, he had fallen in love with a woman named Anne Boleyn. He decided that he wanted to marry Anne and get rid of Catherine. So he went to the Pope and he says, look, I want to get married to Anne Boleyn and I want an annulment from my 20-year marriage from Catherine. And the Pope says, nope, not going to do it. Well, King Henry, not used to being told no to, contested. He says, look, Catherine has not given me any heirs to my kingdom. She's only bore me females. I need a son, and that's why I need to marry Anne to see if she can give me a son. Pope says, no can do. There ensued a battle between the Pope and the king, and if you understand history at that time, church trumped state. Just like what's going on in the Asian continent right now, in the Arabic communities, where the imam or the cleric or the ayatollah is in religious power. But if the parliament or the leader of the country wants to make a rule, say they want to make a rule women can drive vehicles, and the imam or the cleric says, no, church trumps state and women will not drive. So anyway, this feud had gone back and forth between King Henry VIII and the Pope, and finally the Pope would not relent. He would not give an annulment to the 20-year marriage between Henry and Catherine. And finally the king said, you know what, forget you. He left the Catholic Church. He overtook the Church of England, got rid of Catherine, married Anne Boleyn, and lived happily ever after. Actually, if you know the story, they did not. However, that's the way the story goes. And you're thinking, all these years I felt guilty about having that juicy hamburger on Friday. Now, guilt. That guilt about providing it. That guilt now provides you an opportunity because you now have gained insight, you've gained understanding and learning. That it wasn't the word of your God that had stated that to eat meat on Fridays is a sin, but it was actually a pope in the 15th century that had made that doctrine. So now you have a choice, you have an opportunity. Either you continue to observe the ideal of your religion and to make that one day a week a meatless week, and thinking of or meditation of what basically these fasting days were, or you can choose to say, you know what, I can be a little bit easier on myself and I can have a nice hamburger on Fridays. So that's the opportunity in which guilt provides you. It gives you the opportunity to either make a decision to stand firm on what you believe is right and true, or to expand your ideas. If you're using guilt in any other way, you're using it wrong. If you feel guilty about something or regretful about something that you've done in the past, that doesn't make you any better of a person. Forgiving yourself makes you a better person. Understanding, learning, expanding of yourself makes you a better person. Thank you very much. I'm Kate Alice. If there's anything I may do to help you, you may reach me at 480-695-1936 anytime between the hours of 10 a.m. and 11 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. Please visit my website for more information about my clinical hypnotherapy practice at thehealingquest.com. I specialize in anxiety, panic attack disorders, and completely correcting them in 3 sessions. I also work with pain management, especially with self-esteem and self-worth issues. I look forward to speaking with you next time. Have a great day.